2, 3.
I almost quit YouTube. It's been 4 months since I put out a video. I guess it's time to explain where I've been. Wow. Well, that took entirely too long to set up. Ow! I've been really busy. In short, YouTube was taking it out of me, and back in April, I started to analyze my analytics, my goals, what I was hoping to get from having a YouTube channel, and looking at all of those things and trying to make an educated decision on whether or not to stay here on YouTube. Before I get into the how, where, and why, I think I should address the who and what. After work one day, I was asked to call a relative, and I didn't think much of it at the time because relatives talk to each other. That's part of being family. I was informed that my stepmother had been in a pretty serious car accident and unfortunately had succumbed to her injuries. The seemingly random nature of it really left me dumbfounded. Rhonda came into my life when I was 11 years old. I can't explain, without getting more personal than I'd like to on YouTube, why her as a stepmother had such a profound impact on me, but she was a strong female role model when my biological mother was off living her own life. She helped my father raise me to make sure I was involved in my community and to give me the characteristics, to help build the characteristics within me that they saw as essential for a positive life in the world. She really stepped up to the plate, and that's more than I could have asked for. Some 8 or 9 years later, she was with me and my father in the vehicle when he was in a car accident and lost his life. She broke her arm and suffered great mental anguish following that accident. I guess commitment can come with that baggage. Weirdly enough, she passed away almost 18 years to the day, literally one day short of 18 years of when my father passed away. So I had to go to her funeral, which was being held in Southwest Georgia, almost at the Alabama line. Fortunately enough, I'd already taken off some time to go out of town for vacation, so I was able to use that time to go for the funeral. Considering I don't get to leave Raleigh all that much, Jennifer and I decided that on our trip down, we would try to see some things. So we left Raleigh and headed on down the road. We stopped in South Carolina and went to BUCCEES, which was an experience that I've been wanting to have as a Southerner for a couple of years now. And it was something. It was super cool. It was huge. For those of you who are not from the Southeast, it is basically a convenience store the size of a small Walmart. There's all kinds of home decor, clothing and apparel, fishing and hunting supplies. They also make barbecue in-house. Not to mention there's somewhere between 50 and 100 gas pumps there, so it's kind of like a mecca to get gas and snacks. Forgive my analogy, don't be so sensitive. We also stopped in South Carolina and saw the UFO Welcome Center. It's just a piece of folk art created by some guy in a small town called Bowman. Is that Bowman? And because we were in the town of Bowman, and that is my wife's surname, we decided to take some fun photos while in the town of Bowman. We went past the ruins of what used to be south of the border. And followed all the way down the coast to Savannah before splitting off and going across Southeast Georgia. Because the trip was already going to be about 10 or 11 hours, with our stops and whatever that we had planned. We decided to just push on through and not make too many stops. It was fantastic to see people at the funeral. I'd seen people I hadn't seen in 20 years. I know that's very personal and you probably really don't care. So I'm just gonna wrap it up with it was emotional and I was grateful to be there. And cedar and sage and sweetgrass and juniper and cypress and cannabis and tobacco. And they're all harvested at different times of the year and have different symbolism of what they mean.
Do you ever get burned by the lighter?
Sometimes. I usually don't like to use a lighter, but we were running out of the house at the last minute. But before we left the next morning, we got up and headed to KOLOMOKI State Park in Southwest Georgia at the border with Alabama to see the Native American mounds there from the Mississippian period. It was fantastic. They have a reconstructed home, plenty of signage to inform you about the culture and what we presume we know based on the archaeological and anthropological research that's been done. They have a welcome center that's actually built inside of one of the mounds and part of it, and you can actually see where they cut into the mound and the kind of artifacts that they have there. They also had this little museum that showed arrowheads and artifacts, and also what they think the burial practices were for these people. We also took a short hike over to the actual mounds and made sure to climb the largest mound there, which was about 50 feet. It was beautiful, the sun was beating down, and it was a little warm considering it was the beginning of June at that point. We left KOLOMOKI State Park, drove through a hailstorm in Atlanta. We took a different route on the way back and stopped and saw some more things. We stopped close to the town where I went to high school in Northeast Georgia. We pumped gas there and headed on up. Upon returning home though, I knew it was crunch time. I wanted to do a lot of reorganization and thinking about the channel. I came back and began organizing and planning, pulling out notebooks, trying to better visualize what my goals are and the steps I need to take to get them done. I want to make high quality content for this channel, and in order for me to do that, I need to give myself time to prepare and to shoot and to edit and to promote all of these things. As I am a one-man operation, I need to give myself the best opportunity for being successful. And I thought the best way to do that is to take a step back from YouTube, to go on hiatus. So I did. So I took out a list of video ideas that I have in my phone and I began planning, choosing shot selections, writing out scripts or at least bullet points depending on what it is that I want to talk about. This video I decided not to script. I wanted to speak from the heart and just catch up with people. I need to explain where I've been. I think it's good for me to talk about it too. But before I knew it, I was running out of time on a project that I needed to complete. And you've probably seen the most recent videos on my channel and my advertisement. I don't know what the future holds for 217 West Martin Street once the broker moves out, but I will remember the laughs, tears, the sweat, style, music, and chow. I'm ecstatic to announce my series 217. Where I did a series of watercolor sketches based on the Berkeley Bar downtown. I'm not going to exhaust that. If you'd like to find more information about that, you can either check it out on my website at charleshancockcreations.com. And there's a couple of videos of me creating the artworks right here in the channel, so you can check those out. With 217, I wanted to make it as approachable and interesting and engaging for people, so I made that part of my focus while I was off. I still have about a month left before I take those pictures down, as well as the merchandise to turn that over. So also you can look at that on my website. So before I knew it, the 4th of July had arrived, and that put a halt on 217, my series, and also on the work I was doing on the channel. So I took the break and went and spent some time with my in-laws, which was fantastic. I got to see some beautiful fireworks and to feel inspired and patriotic and to gain a little bit of warm blood back in the cold heart I have about politics and government. Our first stop on the 4th of July trip was to an Okinichi reconstructed village. It was amazing to see what the Okinichi have done with this piece of property. It's open to the public, so if you'd like to find more information, you can just Google it. There's not a whole lot to do there, but if you're in the area or looking for a stop to see something interesting, it is worth the stop. It was great looking at the techniques that they use that we know come from generations and generations and generations before to build these houses and lean-tos. The knots used for netting, it was awesome. We stopped in Winston-Salem and saw an old Shell station with this creepy mannequin keeping up house. We swung by Old Salem to see what I'm pretty sure is the world's largest tea kettle, just outside the old Moravian community. With the sun coming down, we rolled into Charlotte and decided to try to see the Thomas Spratt and Chief Haggler statue. There's an amazing video you can find online about the artist actually creating the statue and what information he used to create the image, and it's fantastic. I would suggest anybody watching it, it's about 25 minutes. But we went there, got some photographs, and I took a little time to work on a sketch. When I finish the complete sketch, I'll also make sure to post that on my Instagram and Facebook so you can see it when it's done. I think these are beautiful pictures with Charlotte in the background. I found it interesting that the artist also made note of some animal totems and symbols and used those and carved them in the stone. While visiting the in-laws, we took the opportunity to also go on some hikes through nature preserves and also through just some parks. We got to see some beautiful artwork. The art really represents the community there. I don't understand the link between the town and these old Hollywood figures, but it's very cool all the same. This area is also renowned for their Appalachian face jugs, which you might be familiar with. And after 4th of July on the ride home, we decided to stop and see the Dale Earnhardt Memorial, which I've never seen. Also an awesome piece of art. Coming back from Western North Carolina and pulling in my driveway, I was suddenly aware that it was time to jump back in the saddle and do some more preparation work. As I continued doing that, it quickly rolled on to August, and I knew at the end of August I had a family reunion to attend out of state in the mountains of Virginia. During the hiatus, we also took some time to spend time with our friends and our friends' kids. Our good friend's son was having his first birthday, and I made him this little wooden fox and put these characteristics that are attributed to foxes on it, as well as making cupcakes for the adults and a big cake for him to smash for his first birthday.
Get in there.
So not too long ago, I noticed my tribe had put out a video that's not for promotional purposes, but I will try to dig up the clip.
Naha PP, and welcome to Monacan Country. The heart of our community is at our Sacred Bear Mountain in Amherst, Virginia. We welcome you to visit our museum and sacred lands.
And I noticed my dad's headstone on the burial mound was illegible. I know it was from a distance, but I could see that the stone had started to grow lichens and such. So I've been trying to get out to Amherst in Virginia to clean the stone. I did a little research on YouTube on how to clean a stone and not damage the headstone. But we did take the time to go out with my wife and my half-sister and her child and clean some headstones there. I feel so much better about it. I can read it from a distance and it's beautiful. We stopped and visited a place that our parents had taken a picture of us when we were young kids. And having my half-sister there and her child and my wife there was magical. It was beautiful, but boy was it hot. On the same trip, we went and saw the old tribal community, which is beautiful and serene. Jennifer and I made a point to stop by the new tribal community as well, which is closer to the city, on the way back to the farmhouse. We explored the woods, saw farm animals, and a pre-revolutionary cabin. Amazing. It was beautiful out there. And I got to take some knickknacks home. The weather was fantastic. I had a great time. I got to swim in rivers that I haven't been in 30 years and see some relatives that I haven't seen in nearly as long. But the family reunion doesn't last forever, so eventually I had to drive down the mountainsides and deeper into the Piedmont and return home and go to work. It's always difficult to go back to work after a vacation, but it isn't a vacation if you stay. Meanwhile, this whole time I've been processing Rhonda's death. I've been pondering my goals for the channel and trying to figure out an executable plan to make this channel better. But I would really like to come into 2024 with a more regular schedule of videos. I know some of you have actually reached out about specific tutorials that you would like to see, specifically a Bridgman tutorial about doing the Bridgman head and building an accurate likeness, and there will be more tutorials. So cutting back to the beginning of this video, you probably noticed that my hair isn't done too well and I have a huge mitt. Actually, the day that I was filming the talking portion of this video, that evening I was trying to make dinner and accidentally stabbed myself in the hand. I had to have surgery 2 days later. I know it doesn't look like much in the picture there, but is that a helicopter now? So, as I was saying, it doesn't look like much, but I accidentally sliced the 2 flexor tendons of my left finger and part of the nerve. I had surgery yesterday. My arm was completely isolated, numb, and I couldn't even lift up my arm until today. So I have 14 weeks of rehab. Luckily, this is my left hand, and I still have my right hand to draw. I will be medicated on painkillers for a little while, and I haven't been able to do much drawing because it's not actually been feasible for me to do that, nor really to edit. I have my mouse hand, but I don't have my keyboard hand. So that's also going to be going on, which might postpone some things. I know I've been trying to get this channel in order, and I wanted everybody to be able to reap the benefits of this bit of a hiatus that I've been taking, but now I'll be dealing with this as well. I don't know when this video is going out, so I don't know how many more weeks of therapy that I have left on the hand, but yeah, sorry about that, guys. I hope this video really helps fill you in on where I've been and what I've been going through. And I will have more stuff, especially with the holidays coming up. I already have some projects that I need to be working on for that. Don't forget to catch me on my other social media. All of them are Charles Hancock Creations. And make sure to check out my website at charleshancockcreations.com. I'll let you get out of here. Hopefully I'll have a more artistic-based video sometime soon. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for the support. And remember, life is what you create. So create something awesome. I gotta get out of here.